me up this morning. Clothed in my right mind. Amen. And I heard the old folks say, I got a mind to run on and see what the end's going to be. Amen. We give honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus, who is the Christ. We thank God for this, the Lord's Day. Thank God for what He's already done. We thank God for these 2 nights that God has allowed us to come together in fellowship. Amen. And blessing His wonderful name. Praise God. We thank God because there is no God like our God. Amen. He rules and He reigns both now, henceforth, and forevermore. Amen. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is from the beginning to the end. From everlasting to everlasting. Amen. He is our God. Somebody say, He's my God. He's my God. Oh, you didn't mean it. You didn't mean it. Say it again. He's my God. He's my God. There you go. There you go. He's my God. Amen. I claim Him personally because He did a personal work in me. Amen. Thank God for my lovely wife. Amen. Thank God for my children. Amen. I thank God for you. Give yourself a heck of a praise. Amen. If you don't mind, let's get right to it. Praise God. Let's get right. Let's go to work. Praise God. Turn with me. We thank God for the well-labeled pastor of this ministry. Amen. She's Amen. But we thank God. We thank God for the founder of this ministry. Raise your hand for that who you are. They were sharing their hearts with us, and come to find out this is an outreach ministry. Amen. At its core, they really do outreach. It's not just a name. This is what they live and what they do. Praise God. And that is something to be commended. Because that's what's missing from the church today is outreach. Amen. Church has become a social club whereby we just like to talk and sing and preach to one another. Amen. But somebody's got to go out and compel them to come. Amen. So we thank God. We thank God for this ministry. Let's go to the Word of God. The book of Jonah. The book of Jonah, chapter 2. Amen. Jonah, chapter 2. Amen. Chapter 2, starting at verse number 1. Tell your neighbor, it's in there. Amen. One of the minor prophets. A difficult book to find if you're not in there all the time. It's not that big and it's caught between 2 other minor books. Amen. Jonah chapter 2. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Praise God. After Obadiah, before Micah. Amen. Amen. Well, you have to say amen. Amen. If you don't have it, look on with your neighbor to the intent that we may read the Word of God as a family. Praise God. Chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. I would encourage you, because we will be vacillating back, starting at chapter number 1, all the way down, really the whole book of Jonah. But for the sake of not having to read 4 chapters, I'm just going to take it for granted that you're going to go home and read the story of Jonah. Praise God. But I'm primarily preoccupied with chapter 2, verses number 1 and 2. Praise God. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord. And He heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Yes, sir. Praise God. If you would give me just a few minutes, praise God, I want to tell you, He's the God of my dark place. Yes. He's still God, even in my dark place.
Yes.
One, has everybody ever been in a dark place?
Yes.
Amen. And it wasn't by anybody else's doing. It was by the volition of your own choices that caused you. He's still God. Jonah cried out to God from the belly of a fish at the bottom of the ocean. And God heard his earnest cry. Give me a few minutes. We're just going to take a walk through Jonah. Just going to take a little brisk walk through Jonah. Praise God, and see what God has to say. Father God, we thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
You may have your seats in the presence of the Lord.
Amen.
How many know God knows what your thank you means?
Amen.
Amen. Let's go to work. The writings of Jonah brings to us the forefront of some very interesting facts, characters, and dynamics. We meet Jonah in chapter 1 standing at the port where boats are being docked, and these boats are going different ways. And Jonah is standing betwixt and between two opinions. God chose him for this time to enact his sovereign will amongst a certain set of people. God does not call us for our own purpose, but God calls us according to his purpose. God is sovereign, absolute, immutable, unchanging, undaunted, and unchallenged. But God, within his sovereign grace and providential wisdom, has given us choices to make. Somebody say that with me. I got a choice to make.
I got a choice to make.
Within our human capacity, God allows us to make choices. Here lies the trouble, beloved, is that we are not robots programmed to do God's will automatically. Here lies the trouble in that when you allow for me to make choices, sometimes my choices don't line up with God's will. That God is sovereign, but he knows that he wants us